They're with me in studio to share their reporting and their insights. Vivian Salama with the Wall Street Journal, Carl Hulse with the New York Times, former federal prosecutor Sean Wu, and CNN's Evan Perez. Sean, I want to start with you. It's a campaign finance indictment. In and of itself, it has nothing to do with any of the allegations in the Democrats as they build their impeachment case. But even Jay Sekulow, the president's own attorney, in saying, nothing to see here. Read the indictment. Neither the candidate nor the campaign has anything to do with the scheme these guys were involved in. So the president's own attorney calls them schemers. These schemers are a key source of information to the president's personal attorney, who passes it on to the president, who repeats it all the time, even though much of it we can prove to be false and the rest of it is unfounded. Right. What does this tell you?
Well, this really tightens the noose of scrutiny on Giuliani. If I were him, I'd be thinking about taking the fifth real quick, because you just don't know where it's going to go with these folks. And they are likely to become cooperating witnesses. And if they become cooperating witnesses, they could yield very valuable information about Giuliani, as well as what impetus they had or direction from Trump himself.
This is brought by the Southern District of New York. Jeffrey Berman is Rudy Giuliani's former law partner. It is signed off on by the Attorney General of the United States, who a lot of Democrats believe is trying to do everything he can to protect the president. Well, in this case, Bill Barr signed off on this, right?
Right, he did. And I think it goes to your point, which is, for months, people have been trying to tell the president, actually for more than a year, tell the president to stay away from Rudy Giuliani. Bill Barr, by the way, took that advice himself, because he was briefed on this investigation back in February, right after he became Attorney General. And the Justice Department has certainly made every effort to have him stay away from Giuliani, to keep Giuliani away from the Justice Department, away from Bill Barr, with good reason. And I think the question is, why hasn't the president taken that advice?
Well, and to that point, we'll do more on this case, and the specifics of this case in just a minute. But Shan, this breaks on the day after Bloomberg reporting, again, that Trump urged top aide to help Giuliani client facing DOJ charges. In that piece, President Donald Trump pressed then Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to help persuade the Justice Department to drop a criminal case against an Iranian-Turkish gold trader who was a client of Rudy Giuliani, according to 3 people familiar with the 2017 meeting in the Oval Office. I mean, help me understand that. This is the president's personal attorney, not on the government payroll, asking the President of the United States to get the Secretary of State to help a client and quash a criminal investigation. He's still the president's personal attorney, and now he's involved in all this Ukraine stuff, but help me. There are ethics rules, aren't there?
Yeah, that is a classic abuse of power. And the president's team and he could spin some legal theories that he's the head of the executive branch and ultimately he can do anything he wants. He could order DOJ, shut it down because I'm the head. But that's exactly what our structure is in place to guard against, which is to have the president, head of the executive branch, give his cronies, clients, help by putting his finger on the scales of criminal investigation.
And it goes beyond that. I mean, we're talking about the president's lawyer using the Oval Office, right? He has special access to the president. So Tillerson walks into the room, I'm told, and he confronts Michael Mukasey, the former Attorney General, and Rudy sitting there, and the president says, gentlemen, tell Tillerson what you'd like him to do. And this idea of a swap for this man, Reza Zarrab, who is facing charges and who has actually been convicted now in New York for this pastor that the Turks were holding hostage, essentially. So the question then arises, again, where does Rudy Giuliani's personal interests, his business interests, where do they align, and how are they intertwined with U.S. government foreign policy? Is that good? And the president seems to be comfortable with mixing those two things. Tillerson was very unhappy about that. He said no. By the way, Rudy and Mukasey also tried to bring this up with the Justice Department. They said no. So people were basically saying, this is not something we do.
And turn on Fox News 6 days a week, and Rudy Giuliani is calling everybody else corrupt. Okay, then.